Now, reports have emerged indicating that Iranian missiles are targeting the Muwaffaq Al Salti air base in Jordan, a strategic facility used by both the Royal Jordanian Air Force and the US Air Force. The escalation of hostilities has seen Iran retaliate against the US military assets in the Gulf and Levant. I want to go back to Ajay. Ajay, what can you tell us on this?
Yes, Iran, claimed and they have carried out counterattacks on the U.S. and they say that they have targeted the Muwaffaq Al Sultani Air Base of U.S. in Jordan and a key U.S. ally and relatively stable players in the region is being degraded and dragged into the fire. And Iran claims that they have hit shots on the U.S. bases over there because, as far as the U.S. bases in Middle East is concerned, they are the only target where Iran can carry out attacks because they know that they cannot reach to the locations of the U.S. But the conflict which has started once again, that clearly indicates that things are going worse, on the daily basis.
All right, Ajay, stay on with me. Now, U.S. airstrikes struck the Aghajari oil and gas airport in Omideh, Khuzestan province, as part of a major escalation across southwestern Iran. The attack, which targeted hangars and military facilities, is part of a broader U.S. military campaign intended to secure commercial transit through the Strait of Hormuz. Footage shows a massive blaze post the attack, and viewers, I'm going to hold that image for you. Look at those dramatic visuals on your screen of the massive blaze. And Ajay, what can you tell us on this?
Yes, U.S. claims that they have carried out this fresh attack, and basically it is in the Khuzestan province where Media airport have been targeted by the U.S. forces, and U.S. also clarified that this is not a civil airport, which basically Iran was posing, but they say that it was a defense airport where they have targeted, and give damage to the Media airport to ensure that they have to degrade the firepower of Iran. But what we have seen that Iran was continuously threatening that they have the long-range missile, they have the missiles which can give maximum damage to the U.S. authorities, U.S. bases in the Middle East, and that's why they are carrying out these attacks over there. And with this fresh attacks by the U.S. On the Media airport, that clearly shows that they have given major damage to the Iranian, firepower and Iranian bases over there.
All right, Ajay, stay on with me. I'll come back to you. I do have now Major General Sudhakarji. He's a senior geopolitical and defense expert joining me on the broadcast. Major General Sudhakarji, welcome. And of course, there is no sign, since you and I spoke last, there is no sign of the conflict settling down, no sign of peace at all. The conflict is escalating, and at the moment we're talking about U.S. airstrikes which have struck the Aghajari oil and gas airport in Omideh, Khuzestan province, as part of a major escalation across southwestern Iran. What would you like to say on that?
Vaishali, good morning. Thank you for inviting me for your show. We need to understand in the larger perspective. Firstly, what is going on, what is likely to go on or unfold, how it is going to unfold, what will be the consequences. Now, this is nothing but sheer escalation of the ongoing conflict for victory over Strait of Hormuz. Now, the Strait of Hormuz has turned into the center of gravity of the ongoing conflict between USA and Iran. Israel is on the sideline for the time being, and whenever they get bored, they keep bombing Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza Strip. But the fact remains that presently the ongoing conflict is basically for control of Strait of Hormuz. Why is it so? This needs to be understood. It is so because the MOU, which was formulated containing 14 points, is basically nothing but a total surrender to Iran. And total surrender means, are the Iranians victors? Without any doubt. They have actually won the war hands down without any kind of ambiguity. So why is it the USA, after having signed, after the President Donald Trump having put his signature digitally on the MOU, why is he escalating? What was the trigger? The trigger was basically when the para 5 or the clause 5 of the MOU clearly says that post initial agreement, the 60 days of negotiation following the initial agreement will entitle, or Strait of Hormuz will be managed by Iran. When you talk about Strait of Hormuz will be managed by Iran, there is no mention of US. But suddenly you find when the Strait of Hormuz started getting controlled by Iran, suddenly the report started coming that the banks or the water channels closer to Omanian banks or the coastline have been opened and the vessels are moving. So, under the circumstances, these kind of moves are definitely not in consonance with the spirit of the MOU, that is the clause 5. And Iranians felt undermined by a parallel activity taking place. So it is a kind of a breach of trust. So when a breach of trust takes place, there are a number of vessels moving, and one of the vessels was given a warning shot, and to which that became actually the casus belli or the trigger. USA started bombing Iran all of a sudden. So it is about 2 days back till midnight. Donald Trump said that the MOU and the talks are going absolutely perfect. They are on track. But suddenly in the morning, he starts bombing Iran. That is what I'm trying to explain. So when the bombing started, no bombing from USA side, no matter how much of military ordinance they actually pump in and start putting on Iran. Iran is a huge country of 2,300 kilometers north-south by 2,200 kilometers east-west. It is a mountainous terrain. It has got camouflage, concealment, and dispersion. It has got mosaic system of administration and architecture of governance as also military deployment. So therefore, it will be very difficult. Even if he pumps in 1,000 missiles, nothing is going to happen to Iran because they have got underground by 500 to 600 meters. They have got tunnel system. Presently, the conflict is localized to the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz has to be understood in perspective that it is spread over 145 to 190 kilometers, and the channel is around, the water channel is 39 odd kilometers. This 145 to 190 kilometers has got steep banks towards Iranian side with very, very limited approaches. And they have got rugged mountains going up to as high altitude mountains. And all these, they have got vantage points on the cliff tops. And the vantage points, they have got
Major
easy
General Sudhakar